definitely. So I'm going to open up the floor to Sabrina. Sabrina had a question. Sabrina, I'm going to unmute you and then you can ask your question. Let's see. Sabrina, are you
Oh, yes.
perfect?
Ye- Yes, I'm here. Hi, everyone. Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Tuanni. I saw the images. I saw a radio interview. I forget the name of the station, or not station, but forget the name of the outlet or medium that you did in Kansas. And they took some really wonderful pictures of your tasting room. And I even put a few of those images in my Facebook group because I thought that they were beautiful. But the question that
Oh,
I wanted
thank
to,
you.
absolutely, they were absolutely gorgeous. So the question that I wanted to know was, did you have a variety of tasting room designers when you were coming up with the concept and the layout for the design of your tasting room?
So that was kind of the most exciting part of the entire journey, was working with my interior design team. So I had kind of like structural designers that helped, design the layout. And I mean, I had to build this winery from the ground up. So all of the mechanical, electrical, plumbing, all the flooring, all the cabinetry, where we were going to have the production area and getting all of my tanks and chiller setup. Like, I had to be involved in all of that. But there was a firm here locally called SPT that helped me with the interior design. My favorite color is purple. I don't know if you can see the purple cabinets behind me. Why I love purple is purple signifies royalty. Purple's the color of grapes. And then I'm a Kansas State University graduate, and our school colors are purple. So my label's purple. So I incorporated a lot of purple into the space, which was a lot of fun. But I wanted a space that felt industrial yet warm and inviting. Because we are downtown, I didn't want people to get confused with us being a nightclub or a bar. Like, we are a winery. We are wining down with our wine. We have jazz on Saturday. So the ambiance and the feel and the lighting just had to be perfect. And SPT helped me do that. So I can't wait to have you all come visit me once this COVID-19 is over.
I know.
Thank you so much.
Any more questions before I get started with more questions? I have so many questions.
I have a question. It's me, Alicia. Hi, Jenny.
Hey! It's good to see you.
Yeah, so I met Jenny when we were both at Hugh Society's Black Wine and Food Festival last year at Essence. So, but my question is, as a woman in this industry, because, especially as a woman of color, what was your deciding factor in opening up your wine shop? Like, what was that ultimate that took you from winemaker to saying, hey, I need to open up my own wine shop / space that you have?
That is a very good question. So I've been very open about my why for, opening up this business. And it really is because I had a great career in HR. I joke that I sometimes made more money in HR than I do in the wine business, but my why was I hit a glass ceiling. And I feel like so many times women of color and just women in general will hit glass ceilings. And I wanted to be in charge of my own destiny. And I felt really comfortable and confident with my ability to be able to run a business that could be super successful. And then I'm also trying to pull up individuals behind me. So I want to be an inspiration to other young girls of color to say, if she did it, if Jenny did it, I can do it. And I feel like the wine industry and the agriculture industry in general, you don't see a lot of people of color in those spaces. And so we have to be kind of beacons to say, hey, we love wine too. We belong here. We want to market to individuals that look like us and have similar, similar ideas and beliefs and things like that. So I love being a part of the wine industry to inspire other people to come along with me, either, start something of your own or join us in wine.
I love that. Do you have a wine club?
So I have a couple different wine clubs that are mostly local, but I am building more of a subscription kind of quarterly wine club that would be more of like a subscription. But one of the things that I did early on was invested in this refrigerated wine locker that's mahogany and it's really beautiful. You actually, Tuanni, used that picture of me by that locker. So we actually have wine locker memberships for people who are local. But one of the things, that we are going to be doing starting in June, because I will be releasing 4 new wines. And so I'll have a total of 11 wines available. At that point in time, we're going to put together some wine subscription boxes that anyone in these 37 states can subscribe to on a quarterly basis, and then we would ship them out. So stay tuned for more details in June.
Okay, so can you just tell us some of the 37 states that you ship to? 38 states. California, would California be one of them?
California is one.
Yay.
So I can ship, of course, here in Kansas. So it's 37 plus Kansas, so it's 38.
Okay.
Then I can ship to, Illinois, Georgia, Colorado, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Missouri, North Dakota, South Dakota, North Carolina, Florida, Washington, D.C. So all the major hubs. Texas, I'm going to have to look on my list about Texas, because I'm not sure off the top of my head. Yes, I need. Okay, I didn't catch what you said.
Oh, I said the southern states can be a little tricky sometimes.
Yes, absolutely.
And okay, so you did say Florida. Wow, but 38 states is a lot. I mean, with the California laws, it's so tricky. Just like that's one of the challenges too, because I try to promote wine brands that are Black owned, are people of color, women, Native Americans, Latinos, and just trying to get the word across, the entire country. And getting the wine across the entire country is probably one of the most challenging things. So how do you deal with distribution challenges?
Yeah, so right now, I feel like we're still in the infancy stage on our distribution. So I've had distribution in Kansas since about May of 2018, and that's going well. So we're in 23 different liquor stores throughout Kansas. But outside of that, I am in my home state of Nebraska. And then we're really trying to find other markets that have an interest in Dawn Cellars and figuring out ways to get on those stores' liquor shelves. So if you guys have specific states that you would like to see me on the wine retail shelves, please let me know. And if you have ideas of distributors for me to partner with, I'd love to hear that feedback.
Yay! You want to go? Oh yeah, partner with Alicia. So Alicia is a.
Oh yeah. So that's
yeah.
So that's my other question. Can you ask or answer to me, how do you feel as a winemaker when it comes to partnering with distributors? Because like you said, you already do self-distribution. Do you find that having a distributor adds to your brand, or how is that relationship? And then also offline, I would like to talk to you too, because I am a licensed distributor and wholesaler here in California.
Absolutely. So I have had really good relationships with my distributor, but what I find to be important is I always have a customer who wants my product to get the distributor to sign the papers. So for me to get to my home state, I had a bar who said, I want Jenny Dawn Cellars wine. And so she connected with her distributor who she was working with. And then it was an easier sell for them to bring me on because they knew they had a customer. And so I had liquor stores in Wichita who wanted my wines. At the time, my wine brand was California, so I had to have a distributor. Now that I'm a Kansas winery, I could self-distribute, but I am so busy here at the winery. Like, I don't have the time to do all of the sales calls with the wine retailers and liquor stores. So I'm grateful that I do have a strong partner who's helping me build my brand. Once everyone feels comfortable about pricing, because with my wines, and I am going to just take a second to like roll through my wines and show them to you all, if that's okay.
Oh, no,
Because my pricing starts. Is that okay?
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Because my pricing on the high end is $49.99 for my Pinot Noir and Cabernet Sauvignon. So this has been a higher price point for some of the distributors and liquor stores to really push. But when people continue to come in and ask for those wines, then they stock their shelves. So I think you always just have to have a customer. And then when you come to the table with your customers, the rest of the process flows. And then my Chardonnay is retailed at $39.99. Historically, our Chardonnay has won the most medals, from Best of Class in the San Francisco Chronicle Wine Competition to silver medals in the Texas International Wine Competition. So we've always done really, really well with our Chardonnays. And then I have a sweet red wine from Paso Robles that retails for $29.99. And then I have 3 wines that are priced at $19.99. I have a dessert Riesling that's in a 375 milliliter bottle. This is a delicious wine. It's a North Coast wine. Then I have my 2 local favorites. So these are Kansas wines. Wichita Moments is this one. It's actually an apple wine that tastes like Moscato. And because we're at a train station, I'm paying homage to the platform that people would stand under waiting for the trains. And that's what this is. This is a platform that's actually behind my building. And back in the day when this was an active train station, this is where the people waited for their train to come. And then Wichita Passion, this is our Wichita flag. I don't know if you all live in areas where people are fanatic about their flag, but here in Wichita we are. And so this is my Wichita Passion wine that is actually made of blackberries. And this is a very semi-sweet, delicious wine. So those are the wines that I currently have on the market. I have 7, but in June, I'm super excited because I will have 4. I have bottles of 3, but I have 1 additional wine. So I'm going to have 2 rosés. This first rosé, I'm naming Red Caboose. Again, just paying homage to us being in a train station. And then I have a Black Locomotive. What's exciting about this wine is I found a grower that is actually growing Kansas Cabernet Sauvignon, which is crazy. Not a lot of people can actually do it. He is one of the first growers to do it successfully, and I am getting some of his grapes. So I'm super excited about the Black Locomotive coming. And then this is the front of our Union Station building. I'm at the back end. But I had to name one of our wines Union Station because there are Union Stations all across the US, in Chicago and St. Louis and Washington, D.C. So I thought this would be a fun wine. And this is actually going to be Kansas Chardonnay, which is hard to believe that we are able to get Chardonnay and Cab from Kansas.
Nice. Thank you, global warming, right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So that's kind of what I have for wine. I feel like it can be challenging for us, Black winemakers, to get nationwide distribution. And I'm hoping that more people like Alicia will have their own distribution businesses to help us take our brands global. Because right now we're just doing direct to consumer through our website to get wines across the US.
Yeah, and that's always one of the challenges. And I always say that, you know what, we need more of us to focus on like having a refrigerated truck, a couple of refrigerated trucks, first of all, so that we can transport wine from A to B. And then also like working on these distribution companies. So we have a couple questions in the chat. I know Sabrina has a question, and so we're just gonna hold off for a second, Sabrina, but then Christopher, who's leaving shortly, he had a question. He wanted to know how much is your shipping cost to California? So like if he wanted to order some wine, about how much is he looking for at shipping costs?
Yes. So shipping, I feel like, is one of the challenges that we all face right now. What I'm seeing for average shipping out to California is about $20. So that would get you, you could ship for 4 to 6 bottles for $20 is what I'm kind of seeing. A case is a little bit more. It's about 25-ish for about a full case.
Okay, well that's not too bad. That's, I mean, you know, $20. I've heard some stories where it's been even more than that. So $20 is not too bad for some fine wine from a Black winemaker. That's delicious. Sabrina, do you want to ask your question?
Yes, yes, and I'll be really fast. The marketing person in me has a question, just because I feel like a lot of wineries are being impacted by COVID with surrounding their on-premise marketing. Has that impacted you at all, Jenny? And if so, how have you been able to pivot and market under this particular climate?
Yes, absolutely. So we invested heavily in our winery space. And so up until this point, our bread and butter was having people in the winery, you know, doing wine tastings, events, that sort of thing. And so COVID really shut that down. And so right now we can only focus on to-go sales. So wine to-go, bottle sales, and then our online presence of shipping wine to customers. So we've really had to shift our focus. To be honest, we weren't even shipping wine for about 6 months. So we were as a California wine brand. And then when we had to switch over our licensing, we stopped. But this COVID-19, like, we got our online shipping back up pretty darn quickly. So it has shifted our focus, and we're excited once things kind of go back to where we can have people in our winery space. But I'm excited that I really had time to implement, you know, building a national wine brand, because up until this point, I was really just focused on the Kansas market.
Nice. That was going to be my question too. But I think that with this COVID-19 thing, the silver lining is it's teaching us all how to be a little bit more resourceful, right? And how to connect with people when we can't in person, which is nice, because I don't think that I would have had the time or the energy to say, you know what, let me set up this call. Let me introduce you to like my small people, and, you know, and I think that that's probably the silver lining. So super excited about that.
I would agree.
I had a question about pricing as far as restaurants. So if your Pinot Noir is $49 retail in your store, how much do you think we can expect to see that on a restaurant wine list or a retail like the liquor store? How much would it cost in the liquor store?
Yeah, so right now what I'm seeing is like our Pinot Noir retail at $49.99. It's getting marked up to about $55 at the liquor stores. I've only had one restaurant carry this wine, and they did it kind of on a trial basis. They sold out, but they marked it up to about $60.
Does that answer your question, Linda? Did you have any more questions? Okay, cool, yeah. Restaurants can always be a little bit tricky because they're always gonna mark it. I mean, if they mark it up to $60, that's kind of a good deal. Restaurants, I've seen them go 3 times as much. So yeah, yikes.
I've seen that in bigger cities, but for some reason here in Kansas, they're not marking up wine quite as much. I don't know if it's a market decision, like the market here in Kansas just doesn't bear that. So our pricing honestly is pretty good at the restaurants that I at least go to.
Oh, well, that's cool. I mean, I'm from LA, so LA is like a different story. It used to be a different story.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
All right, so what's your absolute favorite? Do you have a favorite child? I know all good parents say I love them equally. Like secretly, like just take us to the side room and tell us which one is your favorite child.
Okay, so this is super hard because
let's break it down into categories. Which is your favorite child because it sells well? Which is your favorite child because like on a hard night, you just like to drink alone, or not alone, but you know, at home. Yeah. Categories.
Okay. So what has been selling really, really, really well is our Wichita Passion. This wine is sweet, but yet tart. And so many palates just love this. This is our best seller for bottles. Our cab in the tasting room sells the best by the glass. Our cab is just a really smooth sipper. My favorite sipper is the Pinot. I'm a Pinot girl, like every day, all day. Like no matter what's going on, I feel like I can drink Pinot. I love rosés in the summer, so I'm super excited about the 2 rosés that we have. But all these wines, my whole approach to winemaking is making wines that have complexity. So you're not going to get one just prominent flavor. There's going to be some complexity. They're going to be more a little bit fruit forward, very approachable, and just they're wines that are sippers. So you can pair them with food and they'll be absolutely phenomenal, but they don't have to be consumed with food. So I like wines that you can just kind of sit around and drink and have a good time. And that's what these are.
Nice. So you said complexity, right? And then when I think about wines made from fruit, I don't necessarily think complexity. So can you talk about that though? Can you talk about that one that you said was the apple made from apples?
Oh yeah. Okay. So this wine, this was based from apple cider. So the cider gave it some of that spiciness, that cinnamon. We had a lot of like Granny Smith apples, so you get that tartness too. But then I chaptalized it, so it almost tastes like a Moscato. Like so many people think that this apple wine is Moscato, but it's not. It's an apple cider wine. And so I think the cider brought some uniqueness to the wine. The apple brought some uniqueness. We used more of a tartar apple that, gave it some complexity. So voila.
And how much is the alcohol in that? What's the percentage?
Yeah, so it's 13%.
Oh, wow.
And that's kind of a higher wine, but it sneaks up on you. Like, you better not drink too much of it because it's like a creeper because it's so smooth that it just goes down real fast. And then people are like, whoa, I'm feeling a little bit tipsy.
Wow, I didn't expect it to have 13% alcohol. Wow, that's cool. And then, And then so your Pinot, what's the style of your Pinot? How would you describe it? Burgundy versus like California?
Yes. So this is my third Pinot that I have vinted, and I've been kind of all over the map with the style of Pinot, but I feel like this is like the true Pinot that I'm going to stay with. And it is more of a Burgundy style Pinot. So it has really great earthy notes to it. It has, the great cherry cranberry that traditional Pinot Noirs have, but the complexity of it is just great. I mean, you get some mushroom, you get some green bell pepper. It's just quite delicious.
Nice. I'm like super excited to taste all your wines. And so somebody new who just joined. So just in case you just joined the call, we are talking to Jennifer McDowell. I like to call her Jenny on the block. So Jenny on the wine block. Running the wine block. Jenny on the block, she's from Wichita, Kansas. She has a tasting room in Wichita, Kansas, and we are all going to take a trip out there. So this is COVID madness ends. I'm putting it out there in the universe. I am planning a tour. We're going to take over Wichita, Kansas. I know there's some like good barbecue in Wichita, right?
Yes.
So
Definitely good barbecue.
Barbecue and wine and just take over your tasting room. Can you talk to me a little bit about like before COVID, like, and then your plans for after COVID? Like what was the vibe in the tasting? You talked about how you wanted it to make sure that you separated the club vibe from the winery vibe, but it still seems like it's super fun. Like I can't wait to just go hang out. So can you talk to me about some of the things that you were doing in the tasting room?
Absolutely. So we always have fun events and activities for people to come in and plug into. So one of the things that I'm known for is winication. So I've been teaching winication classes for 3 years. And so those are once a month. So if you're into wanting to, expand your palate, learn more about wine, you can plug into that. Otherwise, we have fun things like trivia night on Thursdays. We have board games that people can play on weekends and evenings. So we're doing kind of like a game night. We have Taco Tuesday. So we actually make 2 cocktails plus sangria. So we do sangria, which is super, super good. But I make wine cocktails. So I have some vodka, a half a glass of the Wichita Moments or Wichita Passion, and then some garnishes, and it is so delicious that it pairs well with tacos. So we do Taco Tuesday nights. And then what we're really known for is our jazz on Saturday nights, which is so much fun. We have a great jazz duet that comes in and plays for us for a couple hours on Saturdays every night. What's really cool is we have garage doors. So we have a patio, so we can open up our garage doors and people can, mingle in and out of our winery space and sit out on the patio and sip their wine. It's just a really nice atmosphere. So, and then we do like catered meals. So we have a small, tasting room food menu, which is mostly like appetizers that go well with wine. So like charcuterie, bruschetta, baked brie. We do artisan pizzas and then desserts. So we have that, 5 days a week. But then we will do catered meals and do wine dinners. And then we always have a DJ and a dance. So we like to get down. We do. We always have a lot of fun. And it's just a great time. So I miss all of my regular customers. A lot of them have been just coming in, getting bottle sales, but I miss having this place full of people.
Oh my goodness. I really do. I can't wait to be one of the people. So what I'm going to do right now is just people might have, I'm going to unmute it for really quickly. And if you have a question, just please go for your question. If it gets too loud, I'm just going to mute everyone. So just hold on for a second. I'll unmute. And if you have a question, just go for it. Okay. So we are all unmuted.
Oh, wait.
Hello, Jenny.
Okay.
Right. Some people wait on the line. That's not going to work. Who are very loud.
Somebody's TV.
Okay. Charles, you had a question? Paul Charles? I'm just going to unmute you. Okay.
I just want to say hello. Just want to say hello. I've been following you since you and your family opened your brand. Welcome to the business. And just very impressed in what you guys have accomplished over your time. So no, I just wanted to get online, just to hear more about you and your journey. And it sounds pretty much like a snippet of all of ours. We all took sort of the same, a similar road, I should say, and had a lot of struggles along the way. But at the end of the day, the success is just wonderful. And when you talk about customers, that's what it's all about. So wonderful story. Just want to say hi. And I spent a little bit too much time. I've been working all day today myself, and I'm about to take off and get a little dinner.
All right, perfect. So Paul Charles is the owner of Charles Wine Company. He's also a winemaker and brand owner, and he's based out of Los Angeles. And he has a storage facility, and he does some distributing as well. Anybody?
Very good. Thank you for those kind words.
No problem.
Anybody
Take care, you guys.
Questions?
I have a question.
Oh, Alicia.
It was part 2 of what Tuanni was saying about your posts, like your preparedness and disaster strategy. And the reason I'm asking that is because one day I'm going to open my own just like you. And so what does a post-COVID, when we get back to, restaurants being open, like, have you thought about what that preparedness strategy is going to look like with the social distancing?
Yeah, so that is such a great question, because when I look at my winery space, right now my occupancy in the tasting room indoors is like 40 people. And then outdoors, if we do standing room only for like concerts and things, we can have 80 standing room only, but really seating wise, we can only get about 50 people comfortably sitting outside. So, if our local government says, hey, you can have 20 people in your tasting room, then I'm going to have to remove some of our tables and chairs. Yeah. And I'm really going to have to be highly aggressive in having, our team wear masks and gloves all times. And I'm thinking about even putting up some at our cash register, like a protective plastic like screen. There's a lot of things that I think we're going to have to do to make changes in our space. And the whole goal is to make sure that my staff stays safe and my customers stay safe. So we're really going to have to think about what the best approach for that will be. I am grateful that we do have the patio, so we can, and the weather's starting to get nice, that we can kind of spread people out between indoor and outdoor.
Yeah, I think that's something for all of us, though. It's like, as we move into this new world, we are going to have to rethink and re-strategize on how we interact with other people. And it's so insane, because I'm a hugger. Like, if you see me, even if it's a stranger, I'm like walking up to you and I'm hugging you. And so it's so unnatural for me to walk up to somebody and to not hug. So it's going to be a challenge. This post-COVID-19.
Yeah, it really will, because I feel like the whole tasting experience, we spend a lot of time with each guest, sharing about all the different wines. So you're kind of up close, you're talking about the wine, and you're really going to have to, distance yourself from your customers. And I'm a hugger as well. So I regularly hug the people that come in, and, we're not going to really be able to do all of that. So I think this is changing our whole approach on how we deliver wine and wine service.
Wine tourism, it's insane. I'm just hoping that somebody invents a mask that has like maybe a little straw thing inside of it, and then I can just sip my wine. I don't know.
Well, I have contacts, but I wear my glasses a lot. So even when I have a mask on, like my glasses are fogging up. I do not like it.
Wow.
Oh.
So we have about 8 minutes left on the call. Does anybody else have any questions? And then Jenny, if you can just put in the chat box, like your website and your email address, and
Yes.
maybe if you have a phone number, just in case somebody wants to reach out and call you. But like she mentioned,
Yes, absolutely.
she's selling wine online to 37 different states other than Kansas. And so if you would like to buy her wine, I feel like the most important thing, and the reason that I love having these chats, especially with minority-owned wine brands, is because we need to support each other. Like, you're not going to walk into a grocery store like Kruger's and you're not going to see brands that are made by us. You might see one, you'll see McBride Sisters, thank goodness, but that's the only one. And so you have to be, and I preach about this, but you have to be systematic, you have to be purposeful, you have to be committed to certain brands that look like we. And for me, it's an obligation. So yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
But anyway, I'll stop preaching now, and I will just say, put all your contact information into the chat box. And if you guys want to order her wines, please do so. If you're going to be in Wichita, Kansas, or if you have anybody in that area, please let them know that she's there, that she exists. And then, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to read let's see. Linda had a question. What time is it in South Africa? So in South Africa right now, it is 3:54. And yeah, so I'm like, this COVID thing has totally transitioned or changed my whole life. I went from sales to like literally 0 sales. I looked at my website today and it was like 100% down for like all these tours that I have. And so I've started to do a lot of online things. So I have online classes. If you guys know anybody who wants wine education online, please have them check out my website. And I'm doing them in South Africa and I'm doing them in Los Angeles. So usually I spend 6 months in South Africa. So I'm here until June and then I go back to the States. But right now I'm not sure exactly what that looks like. But I'm teaching classes here in South Africa and I'm teaching classes in LA. So yeah, I'm burning the midnight oil.
Okay, so I just typed my information in the chat. So feel free, I provided my personal cell phone number because I'm here to help you. I'm here to help find wine that you are gonna like. All of my wines are a little bit, they're all unique. No two wines taste the same at all. So I'm here to help you find a wine that you will enjoy.
Yay! I'm so excited about that. I'm so excited to find out about your tasting room, to find out about you. I think we met at the Triple AV conference briefly. I'm sorry, but I don't remember it because there's so many events, but I was looking through my pictures and I was like, oh my God, we were both at the Triple AV conference. So I'm sure that we met. That was a couple years, maybe 2019 or maybe 18.
Where was it at?
It was in Sonoma. Was it in Sonoma? Were you there? I thought you were there in Sonoma. McDonald was there.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I don't think
so.
So. Yeah, I feel like I have spent a lot of time just kind of doing events here in Kansas. So the 2 national events that I went to last year for wine, I hosted a wine meetup at South by Southwest in Austin in March. And then I went to the Hughes Society event at Essence Festival that Alicia mentioned. But those were really my 2 kind of nationwide events or conferences that I went to.
So maybe we didn't meet then, but we will meet. So,
I don't think we have.
Well, I can't wait to meet you in person. I'm just going to open up the floor really quick.
Yes.
If anybody has any last comments, they can just say. If you have background noise, just try to mute your phone, okay? but I'm gonna unmute everyone. And if you guys have any last words of encouragement for Jenny, or if you just want to, say anything, time to speak.
So I saw a comment come up that said create an app. And so I've actually looked into that. Do you think people feel more comfortable purchasing wine through an app versus a website?
Oh, hey, I'm actually in the process
So someone said absolutely. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's I think with technology in the wine industry is it's the present and the future. I'm actually looking into that as well, because digitally, especially with the women-owned brands and the brands of color, both domestically and internationally, that's how people are connecting. Like in South Africa, they use WhatsApp. Like most of the winemakers, we do a lot of talking and communicating through WhatsApp. So with the digital app, it will definitely, with marketing, I think every Black-owned and women-owned winery should have an app. That's just my opinion.
Well, that's good encouragement, because I've actually been solicited to for someone making an app, and I'm like, oh, I don't know. But I'm glad that maybe I'll have to look into that. I'm glad that you all are mentioning that as a good option.
Awesome.
Any more questions?
I just want to say I'm still proud. I just love seeing Black women that are coming in as owners. That's like my ultimate. I just want to keep uplifting you and just supporting you, because we don't have any Black-owned wine shops here in the Bay Area. So it just is really it just makes me so happy to see you owning a space, because that's a big deal. You're like a triple threat. You actually produce wine, you own your space, and then you have distribution, you have all of that. And I think that's how more of us need to, even if you don't desire to own your own wine shop, I think looking at the business of wine is so important.
Yeah.
And just building it, even if you're a smaller shop, if you look at the Mondavi family, even if you're similar to that, but in your way, I think we'll start getting more.
Yeah, you're like the Beyonce.
I love that you mentioned that. Well, thank you. I feel like for me, the journey had a lot of struggles, and because of that, it makes me want to dig in deeper and soar higher, because none of this was just handed to me. I had to work so hard to get it that I'm going to do whatever it takes to keep it. So I think, sometimes there's so much that you learn during those challenging times that I'm glad I had it, because I think it's made me a better business owner. It's made me a better leader. It's definitely a piece of my journey that I'll always, treasure. No one just handed this to me. I had to really work hard to get here.
Yay! And we are so proud of you. For you, literally whatever it is that I could do. I mean, send a post, put something together for you. Please just let me know. Thank you guys all for coming. It was so awesome to see your faces. And yeah, so we'll be back next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, we are going to have one of my favorite humans in the whole world. We're going to have Iris Rideau here. She's going to be speaking to us about her journey in the wine industry. Iris, you guys know, she's she's the first Black woman to own her own winery, which includes a tasting room and a vineyard. And yeah, she's just pretty awesome. So come back next Wednesday for Iris. Thank you, Jennifer, for coming. I appreciate you.
Hi.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been wonderful. So I'm glad that you all could join tonight.
All righty. Well, have a good night. Make sure you check out her contact information, which is in the chat. And if you weren't able to grab it from the chat, you can send me an email. You can Facebook me. You can just get in contact with me, and I'll definitely share all of her information with you. And remember, you can order her wines online. She delivers to 38 different states, including Wichita, Kansas. Wine in Wichita. All right. You guys have a good night.
Yeah.
Stay safe. Stay home for the moment.
Thank you,
Yes.
Tuanni, for putting this together, and
Thank you
for
so much.
wonderful story. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.